let's do it this way. All right, so today I'm excited to announce quite a huge thing that we will be starting. There will be 2 input sessions on material evaluation, and the reasons for that, it's huge. It's just huge. So today we'll start revising some theories. We'll look at some samples, of course, and next time, hopefully, we'll come up with the most important strategies. We'll do that today as well, but next time we'll consolidate and summarize everything, and hopefully you'll leave with some kind of prompts, ready-made prompts for this part, because it's not easy and it's quite unpredictable, to be honest. I'll be finishing the course with you. So 2 sessions will be on material evaluation, as I said. Then there will be 1 more input session on something that I can't name properly, but this is part 2, task 3. It's completely unpredictable. And we need a lot of revision there. And I know how thoroughly Juliana works, how much input she gives. So everything will help and everything will contribute to the quality of your responses at the end of model 1, right? Those are very important questions. Then we'll have a revision session, and of course, I'll give you a lot of samples. Do you usually do homework?
Yes.
So what kind of homework do you do? Reading or samples or both?
Both. Everything? Yeah. We have reading list. I think, well, we are all pretty much still hanging on paper 1 reading list, because there's a lot. And paper 2 as well, I guess everything, bit by bit. And we have got the task usually, like some sample question to deal with, like not a long one, but
okay, we'll do the same thing today. We'll see how it goes during the session, and then I'll send you by email some kind of homework task. So don't worry, I'll keep you busy. All right, so let's get started. Oops, sorry, I have a couple of technical problems here. Right, have a look. How many quotes can you see?
4.
4,
4.
Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute. First, of course, you read them, but most importantly, do you have a piece of paper in front of you?
Of course, yes.
So what I want you to do, what comes to mind? What theories, which approaches, what principles? Why do you think these people are saying something like this? What are they relying on? All right. So just a little bit of thinking time. Take notes, and then we'll discuss these things. Okay, time's up. Guys, could you tell me which quote resonates most with you? Which is the most appealing idea?
I think it's number 4 with me. It's task-based learning, I think, yes.
How's that?
Yeah, and because we kind of implement these tasks in our teaching and try to prioritize chunks over grammar. Of course, we use grammar syllabus as well, but still.
Hold on. Are you talking about number 4, the last
number
one?
4, yes, to be
okay.
precise, Sullivan, yes.
Which approach you named?
A task-based learning. Is it task-based learning?
Is it?
I
So
think
the name Sullivan doesn't ring a bell, right? Anyone knows Leo Sullivan? No? He produced a book which is called
lexical approach.
Lexicalized grammar, yeah, something like that.
It's like grammaticalized lexis.
Yeah. That's the idea.
Yeah.
So this is the lexical approach.
Lexical approach. But task-based learning also, but I think task-based learning also includes more lexical approach than others. I think they are more.
Well, it's not in the principles of TBL.
Not. Okay.
It might, of course, it might be combined, with the lexical approach. But it's good that you like it. Yeah, it makes sense. Why? Why do you think chunks are important to teach?
I think chunks are more useful because kind of they improve your lexis, and it's easier to kind of express yourself using all these sets of vocabulary which are kind of stored in your memory. So I think because and probably we are just tired of this grammar translated method translation. I mean method, because grammar is everywhere. Where syllabus is built on grammar mostly. All syllabus. Okay. Whichever book you open.
Very good. Guys, can you take a screenshot? Because I'm going to send you to the breakout rooms in a moment. And I want you to discuss briefly each citation and the ideas that might be behind this. It's all right if you make some guesses, if you don't know for sure, that's fine, because the ideas are self-explanatory and you can still discuss the benefits of using this approach, why some people prefer using it, or why some people might be against that, something like this, all right? Everyone's got a copy? Good, amazing. I'm going to send it to the breakout rooms. Let's arrange 2 rooms. And I'll give you 2 minutes, Don't waste your time, because we'll come together and discuss things properly.
Yes. All right. So about the first one,
I think it's natural approach. I think they hear and kind of try to reproduce the language.
And as for methods, I thought about like not only approaches but methods, about audiolingual method, which might be what do you think?
But I think audiolingual method was a bit later.
Later,
because it's like 42.
Oh, I didn't even look at the date.
I think that some of audiolingual features had already been introduced, because it was a wartime. You see, it was crucial to imitate and listen like native speakers. That's how spies were produced.
Right.
Don't think about the years at all. Think about all theories that are similar in the idea.
So about the second, the context of situation determined the meaning of utterances.
Correct.
I have innate theory. Perspective. I have this term that I have written. Okay, it's crucial to understand how language is used. I've got doubts. I don't know what to say exactly. Have you got any ideas?
How language is used.
Do you remember linguistic competence, something that Chomsky defined? Linguistic competence is about how language is used. But he didn't describe the appropriacy, for example. He didn't include anything about communicative competence, strategic competences, and so on. So Heinz actually pointed that out, and he was talking about the importance of developing the communicative competence, not only linguistic.
So it's communicative approach, probably somehow.
That's what initiated that movement.
So
Okay, so I've heard quite a lot of nice ideas. Yeah, well done, you all. So the first quote, the first citation, yeah, hearing and imitating. It's from behaviorism. Yeah, someone has mentioned. What other theories are connected to the same idea?
Like methods of teaching. I thought about audiolingual method, which is
of course, a lot of repetition, drilling,
Imitation pattern.
And can be it's a natural approach, like natural. We
very
just
good, very
kind
good.
of
Because that's how
process.
kids learn their first language. Yeah, naturally by listening to adults, for example, and repeating after them. Absolutely.
So silent method would also be like
silent way.
Silent way.
In silent way, there is a lot of repetition. You're right.
Right.
Yeah,
And we let the students like go on with in their own pace. Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there is no imitation there, because in silent way you are not saying anything.
You're just maybe you have confused with the total physical approach.
Yeah, total
like,
physical.
Maybe
but in total physical, they don't have to say much, right? They can respond to your utterances non-verbally, showing gestures, and that's how they show they understood it.
Direct method, there are lots of
absolutely direct and audiolingualism. Yeah, those two. Yeah. And of course, in grammar translation, if you think, there are a lot of drills, but they're imitating written language only. The emphasis was on written language. Good. Awesome. So quite a lot of things. We can also mention the theories by Skinner, yeah, and habit formation, if you want. Yeah, just skill learning in general. Language is a skill, yeah, that's important. Okay, awesome. So Chomsky, when Chomsky with his theories, appeared on stage, what kind of idea appeared there? What's the big thing? Come again?
Universal grammar.
Yeah, okay. Cognitivism, universal grammar. What else?
Language acquisition device.
Yeah, language acquisition device. Yeah, those things. It's all from his theories. Perhaps a similar idea. Yeah, Leo Vygotsky was talking about zone of proximal development. Yeah. And
how about
Piaget
critical period? Critical period, is it
hypothesis? A critical period hypothesis is also connected to that. I don't think it's about the context, of course, but it might be relevant. Okay. So Chomsky mostly, but then we can talk about something else. And of course, the big thing that I wanted to elicit from you is linguistic competence. That's what Chomsky pointed out. Yeah, we need to develop linguistic competence in our students. And some of the things may come naturally, but some of the things should be learned and so on. All right, the next one, Himes. These two people go together, yeah?
Yeah, we mentioned about the, with girls about cognitivism.
Good.
And cognitive, and nothing else. Please help.
Yeah, so Chomsky talked about the importance of meaning, but Himes also talked about the importance of understanding appropriacy, context, and communicative competence. Yeah, building up the whole communicative competence, which of course includes linguistic competence, but that's not the only one.
By the
what
way,
else
the
might be
discourse
behind?
was being
Come again, Tatiana?
Discursive theory, the theory of discourse was introduced.
Discourse analysis, absolutely. Fantastic, yeah, great. Okay, and finally we have the lexical approach. We mentioned that briefly, yeah? Let's have a look. Anything to add? Maybe I'm rushing a little bit. You just tell me if the pace is not good enough. No?
That's fine.
Okay. So when we discuss different methods and approaches, yeah, it's more efficient if we make our own examples. You have some teaching habits, I'm sure. So let's talk a little bit about your teaching habits. Think about how you usually start your classes, or maybe what you always do at the end or in the middle. I don't know, some kind of habits. Maybe you give feedback in a particular way all the time, but there is a reason for that. Maria, would you like to share?
Gladly. Thank you. All right. Well, I often start a class by a warm-up to wake everybody up, especially if this is the first period, which is 9 o'clock. So I'd like to I try to do my best to involve everyone. So it would be usually some kind of a fast either mingling activity where they have to ask each other some questions, or I might just introduce some piece of news, usually try to find something positive. And I would ask them to give their immediate reaction to that, like express themselves in a couple of words, for example.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Now, everyone else, not Maria, please.
Yeah, sorry.
What do you think, what are the principles behind Maria's ideas, techniques she's using? What did you recognize? Anything?
Communicative in
personalization, probably she's interested in her students.
One step at a time. So communicative, someone has said, yeah?
Yes.
What makes you think it's communicative?
Because it's mingling activity, so they have to transmit a message, and this message should be understood by other people.
Yeah, also there is an element of interactivity. You interact with others, yeah? And that's how we increase what? Student talking time, right?
Yeah, talking time.
And involve everyone.
Yeah.
And it's also active listening.
Yeah, good. Okay, the second idea was what?
Personalization, because she kind of find out what students feel. She finds out their reactions to the news. So they kind of put themselves in the position of, I don't know.
Well, it's
so
natural.
They share
about yourself, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it motivates them and it increases the level of motivation, and hopefully they will learn better. If you think about that, again, it comes from psychological theories, and as Krashen mentioned, the affective filter goes down. They feel at ease. They learn better, more effectively. Okay, thank you, amazing. Svetlana, would you like to make an example?
About the first one?
Anything. Those are just prompts. You don't have to follow the prompts. You can create your own idea, what you do sometimes in your lesson.
Maybe, for example, if I see new students, and students who do not know each other, I can use icebreakers, maybe special exercises, right? To help them.
Okay, icebreakers are fantastic tools, and of course there are many different functions, of using icebreakers. Guys, tell me, what are they? What might be them?
You repeat the question?
Yeah, what do we use icebreakers for?
Effective filter again.
Good.
So we make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Create a nice atmosphere for learning.
To establish rapport.
Yes.
Yeah. And why it's important to build rapport with your learners?
Because
of the effective filter.
Yes.
Yeah, there is one more thing actually. You want to know more about them, about their interests, about their needs. It's
later you will need to motivate them.
Yeah,
and also you can build on it, and you can build on their interests. You can implement these ideas into your program.
Yeah, it's like needs analysis tool. Very good, amazing, lots of great ideas. Who would like to share something else? What you do? Maybe some particular feedback techniques that you're using. Who corrects a lot?
I do. It's a bad thing sometimes if you over, but I mean, I would like other girls to speak as well, because
I love peer correction or self-correction. So you kind of prompt a student, or you start with the first letter, or you show fingers like Scrivener, or you just ask other students to help. So it's kind of self-motivate, I mean, the student, and with supportive atmosphere, cooperative learning, all these principles of
Awesome.
humanism, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Humanistic approach. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, awesome. Let's move on. Yeah, because basically what we keep in mind, yeah, are the most important principles. So here I've got 10 questions, yeah, 10 prompts. First, perhaps you can think on your own, and then we'll discuss them all. I think you can't see the first one. Sorry, let me just restart. Can you see it now?
Yes.
We have 6 participants, right? And there are 10 questions. I want you to choose 1 or 2 questions each, all right? So do you have any preferences what to talk about?
Sorry, I can't find the 10th question.
The 10th, you can see it.
Yeah, I can.
Click on the screen. Sometimes, you know, you can't see the final line, but it will extend when you click on it. No?
Just pronounce it, please.
Okay,
It's
no
all
worries.
good.
Yeah, I'll send you the handout. I think I put
Okay.
the handout with this thing in a moment. Check the chat box. It might be there. Can you see it?
Well done, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it on the first page? Alona, what preferences do you have? Which questions would you like to talk about?
I can start from the beginning. It doesn't matter for me.
Okay, okay. So then
No.
the first and the second, perhaps, yeah, for you.
Okay.
Svetlana?
Maybe 9th.
You're more selective. Yeah, okay, 9. Okay, why not? Natalia?
Maybe 6 and 6 is already taken.
No,
6
not
is okay.
yet.
6 and 5, why not? Just
Okay, okay. We still have quite a few untaken. Maria?
Okay, well, I will take what is left. I guess number 10, has it been taken?
No, not yet.
No, okay, and 3?
3, good. Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
yeah, okay.
I think nobody has taken 4. Olga, would you like to take number 4? All right, and one more, I think either 8 or 7, somewhere in the middle.
7 and 8 are left.
Okay, Tatiana, thank you. All right, all right. So you know your question. So think a little bit if necessary. Do you have to refer to some sources? Oh, that's fine. You're ready?
Okay, let's do it. What
Now I'm
we know.
afraid
Yeah.
already. I need to refer to some sources.
I think if I refer to some sources, it will take like, I don't know, forever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Would you prefer to work together or, yeah? Together.
Yeah.
You're nodding. Okay. So you don't like being sent to breakout rooms, right?
I think we are fine with
Yeah,
whatever.
we don't
format we
mind.
come up
Yes.
Okay,
with.
that's good, because occasionally I think it's more beneficial and everyone will be more active, yeah, if I send you to breakout rooms. Now let's work together. So Alena, you volunteered, you wanted to take the first, so over to you.
Okay, so how can languages be acquired and learned? We read a book from Krashen, as I remember. He divided this idea that there is a first language that is normally acquired because it's a natural process, and learned language is normally at school, where we create a kind of not natural situation, and we have to develop their skills in these conditions.
You've
So,
mentioned Krashen, yeah? Can I just interrupt you here?
Yeah, sure.
He developed 5 hypotheses. Well, actually, later on, there were some new hypotheses appearing, but still, what are they? Do you remember, guys?
Yes, critical period hypothesis, low filter hypothesis. What else? Let me just open it again and
Consult
look
the
at
source.
You don't remember.
Yes, I need to.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to remember everything. It's good if you remember the key things, and obviously the distinction between learning and acquisition.
Yes, he also talked about the difference between acquisition versus
learning.
Monitor hypothesis as well. Remember, what's that about?
Which one?
Monitor.
Ah,
The
Monitor hypothesis is that when you speak, you need, like, actually, it was very difficult for me to read the book because I was so against everything that he was writing.
Really?
Because I couldn't, yes, it was the second book I read from the list, and actually I didn't understand.
Have you read Lightbound and Spada, How Languages Are Learned?
I'm sorry? Yes, it was the first, and this is the second. Yeah, but still, it was very difficult for me to agree with the person who says that we don't need to produce anything, just receptive skills are important. And
yeah,
it was like,
I'm with you here.
What are you talking about, my dear?
And he keeps talking about comprehensible input, but he doesn't say anything about output. I totally agree with you.
So every time when I opened his book, every time was like, I don't understand it. I don't want to agree with you.
He presented at our conference last year, and he was still talking about the importance of input.
Yeah, so for me, it was like a terrible book. It was very difficult to agree with him.
I agree about this. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Input should be comprehensible, of course, but without output, how will they retain that information? Yeah, okay. Anyway, okay, so, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Anything to add, guys? How languages are learned?
I haven't read that book yet.
Well, you know, from your own practice, perhaps you're a language learner, you're also a teacher, you know how
as for me, actually, I haven't developed my idea. From the beginning, his ideas were very difficult for me to understand, but later I just tried to implement my way of learning to what he was writing about. So I see that sometimes when I learn language, it's very difficult for me to acquire some lexis, but when I watch videos or just read some books that I want to read, I can learn more, and it just happens naturally. And during my speech, I can use some words which weren't taught.
They come easily, right? They are retrieved from your memory because you read it.
Actually, by the end of like reading the book, I understood that yes, probably that's true. It's right, and it works.
I had a very prominent example a couple of years ago. I had an IELTS student, and she was a schoolgirl, like in her 9th or 10th grade, I don't remember exactly. Anyway, her level initially at the beginning of the course was something like B1. Yeah, and she was shy and she didn't want to talk, you know, she was always shying away somewhere when I asked them to discuss something as a group. And then I showed them different sources, what to read, what to listen to, things like that. You know, in a couple of months, it was like C1. Then she took IELTS, she achieved band 8.5 as far as I remember, and she took CPE. Yeah, it was all hidden because of the effective filter, because of the inappropriate methods at school, whatever. Yeah. And then she was shiny anyway, yeah, and showing to the world what she can do actually. And she entered a British university.
Oh, that's nice. Can we, in relation to this question, can we also mention bilingualism and different,
Why not?
forms, yes,
Why not? Yeah.
as well, because sometimes people don't choose whether to learn or not to learn. They have to. So,
but again, it's a kind of natural process.
Yes, it's a natural way. That's what everyone is talking about. So once you are, but the noticing it switches on once a student starts under, even if he is not studying a language voluntary, like he has to because of circumstances. Noticing switches on, I think, at some point, and yeah, and
yeah, we've mentioned quite a few nice ideas that we are going to use in our assumptions in that task, you know. Noticing is one of them. Why is that important? Because yeah, it affects, because facilitates learning, memory, and so on. Yeah, then cognitive involvement, we've mentioned that, and then natural acquisition, of course. A lot of exposure is important. Yeah, that's why we use text-based presentation, situational presentation. It makes presentations more memorable, yeah, and then lessons more effective. Okay, amazing, great. Okay, how about the second one? I've just answered a little bit that.
Yes, actually, I wanted to talk about noticing in the second one because we have a question about texts, and normally we use texts for like a kind of source, I would say, because we have here, it can be cultural information, it can be lexis, it can be grammar. It always depends on the aim that we have in front of us. And text is really a great way to present something and to organize this guided discovery, which can be based on the text, and the students may like benefit from it really a lot.
Yeah, in what approaches, let's say, in what methods, this is not supported, like using text.
Not supported.
Not supported.
Oh, okay. In
audiolingual,
they have just repetition of something.
Well, in audiolingual, as far as I remember, it's very similar to what Kitai-Gorodskaya was doing. There was context, there was a recording, there was the initial kind of text, and then we had to repeat that because I was exposed to that, you know, once, when I was at my first university. So I think, there is still this kind of exposure, and texts are used, first of all. But
I know that in grammar translation, they also use texts.
Yeah, absolutely. So probably everywhere, nearly everywhere. Yeah. Well, total physical response, but again, the situation helps them understand what you want from them and so on. And, you know, spoken discourse can be seen as a kind of listening text as well. All right, amazing. Well, actually, text can be used for 3 different purposes. Yeah,
Tavi, and this.
Exactly, Maria.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but just.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Can you repeat that?
There's this, Alyon, you must know it because this is in Quizlet. Tavi, an abbreviation, text as a vehicle for information, as
and Talo.
stimulus for production, text
springboard for production.
Yeah, for production, and Talo as a
linguistic object.
Yeah, linguistic. Yeah.
And what's the sequence? What's the natural sequence? How do we use text?
I think information first, right?
Information first, of course. Meaning, checking comprehension, then
object, and then production.
So language, linguistic object, and then production, of course. Yeah, quite a natural way of doing things. Awesome. Okay, let's move on. Who took number 3?
It was me. Okay, so do we always start a lesson on systems with a target language clarification? No, not always. It depends on which approach and method you would like to choose. For example, if we take test, teach, test, we definitely should not introduce anything at all on stage, in stage 1. But instead, well, we just ask students to do something which they don't know. So no,
Maybe they do. That's the point of
yes,
testing
yes,
them.
yes, yes, and then we see how much they how well they're doing it, and use it kind of as a diagnostic test,
Exactly.
or no, not a test, but not a test, evaluation. So because you remember from last week session.
Well, evaluation is something that we do by taking tests, by giving our students tests, yeah? So they coincide in certain...
So not always. It depends on what a teacher chooses, which combination of
Okay, yeah, PPPTTT is a good way of putting it. Do you remember what, for example, Lewis said about the sequence?
There is this
observe,
standardized, yes.
Yeah, observe, hypothesize, yeah.
And I don't remember
like
at all about observe, hypothesize,
engage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So observe, again, a text, exposure, yeah, hypothesize, kind of guided discovery, figure out the rules, notice, yeah, and then engage, like put into practice, yeah, that's similar. And then Scrivener is using his acronym for that, yeah, don't remember. But basically the ideas are still the same. Yeah? Good, okay, awesome. So we either present assuming students know nothing, or we collect information about their previous learning and knowledge, identify gaps in knowledge, and then we present.
So which two names are we addressing this question? I mean, how do we refer it to?
Lesson frameworks, PPT, yeah, the most important things, yeah. You can also refer to task-based learning, because TBL is very similar to test, teach, test.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but we use TBL for developing speaking skills. Our main aim will be speaking production. Whereas in test, teach, test, the lesson is likely to be on grammar, function, systems. Okay, awesome. Let's move on. Who's next? Who's got number 4? Tatiana or Olga? I don't remember.
Did I take 5 and 6? 5 and 6.
Nobody wants to take number 4.
It's a very strange question. I even don't.
It is a little bit strange, I know.
Are we talking about like aspects? Are we talking about like continuous, perfect?
Yeah, we can refer to that, or we can refer like aspects we clarified during clarification stage. What are the big things?
Okay.
Like meaning, production.
I
mean, I'm meaning clues and
something that you did in part 1, task 5 a lot. Yeah, you had to analyze language, and there was some comments on meaning, something on the use, something on pronunciation form. Yeah, depending on the task, of course. Yeah,
and appropriacy.
And yes, of course, yeah, appropriacy, use. And of course, we can refer to aspects, grammatical aspects like perfect, continuous, yeah, unlike simple tenses. That's also possible, yeah. Okay, awesome.
Number 5.
What's the next one?
What are the alternatives to teacher-led presentation? So it's like a direct, indirect method, yes? Am I right about this?
Possibly.
So teacher can present the material or use guided discovery, and students might kind of elicit this grammar construction.
When you use guided discovery, what do we call that approach? Inductive, very good.
Yeah, we have deductive, inductive. Yeah, this is what I wanted to mention. Yeah, the way. And also situational presentation, when you can involve as many students as possible and kind of make them
it's still teacher-led.
Yeah, because
it's like PPP. It's teacher-led. Yeah.
Teacher-led. So we have.
It's not very bad. It's not inappropriate. Yeah, but we need to know why we're doing this or that, right?
How about this activity? I know Kagan structure is like tutor, TUT. You know, there is such the structure when you give some material to students, or they prepare at home, and after that they teach other peers in a group.
Okay,
Is it like
teaching.
student?
Yeah,
but it's a
promoting
student
learner autonomy and peer teaching. And also there is an element of flipped classroom.
Yeah, also I know when they watch the video or prepare some material and present in the class. Yeah. So these are the ways, or there are some more?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, awesome.
And number 6, what techniques can be used for checking understanding? So these are, as I remember, these concept checking questions when you ask questions, kind of.
Anything else?
To clarify.
Display questions?
Display questions are usually criticized, right? So if you ask something like, where do you live? But you know that your student lives in Moscow, that's a display question, right?
Yeah.
So non-authentic questions. Maybe they can be used, but it's a kind of CCQ anyway. If it is well designed, you're still checking understanding.
We can use total physical response,
using
like
gestures.
to understand that they got the idea. Maybe, but gestures, miming, it's the same.
Maybe some visual aids.
Visual aids, definitely.
Like
yes.
What?
Maybe they draw something, like in response, for example, sometimes.
General,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Can they just do the exercise?
Yes,
and you will see
controlled practice.
Our
usual,
understanding,
absolutely,
practice.
with the focus on the form or meaning or whatever.
Or they produce these structures, and we also kind of understand this is kind of a response. Yes,
observing.
Production.
Yeah, that's another
observing, monitoring, observing. What else can be?
So I'm still, I want to hear something about visuals. Yeah, like
visuals.
Timelines.
Timelines.
Right.
Substitution tables.
Excellent. Yeah. I haven't thought about it.
We call them vertical extension or horizontal extension.
Mind maps.
Exactly, those things too. But okay, you got it. Perfect. Let's move on. Who's next?
I suppose that I am next.
Okay, go ahead.
It is about receptive skills and productive skills. I would combine them, one by one. How can we help students with develop receptive skills? The first thing. First of all, I would like to say that the materials that are offered to students should be interesting and relevant to their age and interests and their inclinations. And they should be gradually offered. I mean the level of these materials in order for them not to lose their motivation.
Yeah, the choice of text is very important.
Yes, and skills are, well, we speak about skills, but they are divided into sub-skills. And while activating their interest, we should not offer just a big piece of information and say, well, let's read it or let's listen to it and what. The tasks should be thought over thoroughly. For instance, what is it for? For instance, listening or reading for gist or for detail or for specific information, or is it intensive so that we should understand everything? And we can also,
how do you select which tasks to set?
Well, and what are our goals for this?
Okay.
Your
goals are like in terms of the course or what?
Well, in terms of the goals are in terms of the course, and then you have objectives, and these are divided into.
But how do you decide on the objectives? How do you make up your mind there?
Well, what for do they need the course?
Yeah, but also texts. They can
text, yes, surely the text, these are interlinked, surely.
Okay.
I understand that reading to enjoy, it is not about timetables, and we can, while we speak about receptive skills, we should not forget about inferring attitude, because if we listen or read, listen to or read the text well, with some meaning, author's meaning, or that it is a dialogue, the students can feel, and we involve them to feel the attitude of the author, or what do they want to say, like the teachers say. So in order to involve them into the atmosphere, that's it. Personal involvement is crucial. Oh, it's my viewpoint, yeah. You see, because I work with literature.
How can you ensure personal involvement? How can you personalize the text?
Because we choose the text according to their interests, yeah. According to, yeah, if they are motivated
towards the end of the lesson, yeah, they'll be discussing something
absolutely
related.
Yeah, you cannot just
I've been learned something from the text.
Yeah, and what would you think about, and what would you do if it is a personal attitude? That that would be okay. And surely the receptive skills and productive skills are interlinked, and the first stage is about receptive skills. Yeah, I remember your story about that girl with IELTS. First she was on her receptive stuff, yeah. And then she came to productive skills. It is the next stage, because first they are interlinked, because when they well, it is about peer work or whatnot, yeah. They switch on their receptive skills, and at the same time productive skills. When we go to production, receptive skills are also developed, yeah.
Yeah, there is a transition from receptive to productive.
Surely,
yeah, that's another important assumption. Very good.
And speaking and writing, yeah, first of all, these skills are different, because speaking, it is in real time. Writing, it is it is to prepare for it, yeah. And the discourse is different. What
approaches you can remember? Yeah, what comes to mind in terms of developing either speaking or writing?
Communicative approach, and
communicative approach is a kind of umbrella term. It's vague.
Yeah,
let's specify it a little bit.
Speaking, well, when we
maybe someone can help.
Well,
you have to design a lesson on speaking. Task-based learning.
Task-based learning.
Absolutely. Yes. And writing.
Process writing, product writing, and genre writing.
Very good. Alena, could you tell us the difference? Product, process, and genre.
It depends on what we want to develop, let's say, if we can say so. So if we talk about product writing, we look at the model and we base everything on this model and we analyze it. And then our students try to use this model answer to produce their own one. If we talk about genre approach, normally we take different authentic material that we can analyze, and then they have to produce their own one, but it should be really connected to the genre that we are
text should be of the same genre.
Yes, if we talk about process writing, is the way how to produce writing, but we pay attention to the process. So we teach our students all those techniques that are important for writing the future, like the final draft, let's say.
Yeah, like brainstorming ideas, content preparation, language
preparation. Yes, normally it's
they produce their first draft and so on. Yeah, absolutely. Good. In which approach the focus is on accuracy? Well, originally.
The first one.
In the product, yeah. And in the process, the focus is on fluency, of course, on ideas. Awesome. Okay, guys, let's move on. Who's next? Number 9 is a tricky question.
Oh, it's mine. Nine, right?
Congratulations, good choice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that many factors are important. Yeah, to evaluate how can we evaluate the success. I think if the atmosphere is relaxing, yes, and students do not feel tension, as effective, maybe filter is lowered, right? Yeah, and if all the students participate actively, yeah, and if they use maybe Russian language less, so they Yeah, they use
I like that, like
language.
looking from the student's perspective.
Right,
Students
right,
do this, students feel that, they will use language and so on.
Yeah, target
We
language.
need to evaluate our lessons from the student's perspective, first of all. Yeah, what their achievements are like.
Right. If, for example, my materials were engaging, so they were engaged, motivated, and participated.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, and if students achieved all the goals I set for the lesson, right? So I think that
yeah, exactly. Awesome. Yeah. But how do you get that feeling? Like, oh, yes, the aim is
in fact, I'm never satisfied. Maybe I'm always, after lesson,
You're
I
too
always
critical, right?
reflect on, yes, and I'm never satisfied.
I think it's a very good feeling if you're never satisfied, to be honest. That's the driving force for us to develop, yeah?
But I want to feel this satisfaction. I want to feel it, but...
That's normal, yeah. But sometimes you collect information, you observe learners. That's how you get that. Yeah, or maybe you get feedback, like even written. Like, I don't know, if you have some kind of exit tickets with your students.
No, I ask them all the time, by the way, no written feedback, but I ask, what would you like? So what about your preference? For the next time.
But only your reflection is not sufficient, We need to get information from the students as well.
That's right.
Okay, awesome, thank you very much. And feedback, is that yours again or someone else's?
Mine, it's mine. Is it always important to give feedback? Well, it depends on the kind of task the students are doing, but whether we want it or not, I suppose all students, maybe without knowing it, are looking for getting feedback. Because feedback, well, it helps them to improve, it helps them to see what to work on. But the form that the teacher chooses to give this feedback is pretty important. So we should, first of all, look at what kind of task they were doing, like skills, whether it's writing, for example, there would be one sort of feedback, or whether it's like speaking, and whether we're going to give feedback on content or on language. So it is important to give feedback, but if we are talking about freer stage of the lesson, like freer practicing like some topic, they're working in pairs, and I don't think it is that important. You're like kind of have your ear, here, you're listening to them, monitoring closely. But feedback here is not that necessary. You just need to make sure they feel.
You have heard them.
Yes, you have heard them.
You just let it go. You don't give any comments at the end.
You can, I mean, when it is free of practice, all the feedback or like on language or on content that you have been working on over the lesson has already been given. So only if something terrible happens, which absolutely requires your students' attention, then yes.
Natalie, you are smiling.
Because I usually, sorry, Mary, for interruption. I usually do like Mary says, but at the end I put the best examples of the language and the correction, and I ask them to kind of in pairs to discuss each sentence probably or each item, and after that I kind of elicit the final version. And of course you have to praise.
I guess it depends on the level, and on like I'm talking about the like the very last stage of the lesson, when you just want to let them feel
like satisfied
feel
and
the freedom,
happy, like satisfied with the lesson.
But
maybe the methodology.
To their ideas, like naturally.
Yes, of course.
It's a conversation, and if you prefer conversation-driven lessons, you still need to give feedback on the ideas. I'm not talking about accuracy. I'm not talking about
like
good language use or something else, but yes, okay, guys, wow, I haven't thought about that, some kind of
ideas, content, and I think also on the ideas, and also maybe on some good language. For example, they were asking you while speaking for some items, and you have to put them on the board or present for everyone, like to share with good examples.
Yes, okay, so Yep.
Yeah, just to add a little bit, because feedback is a huge thing. Yeah, if you think about it, it's not only content, language, language, positive, negative. There is something else. What else can we add?
Content,
Achievements.
language,
Achievement,
yeah,
yes,
achievement
yes.
of
What
the task.
helped you achieve these results? Like in Delta Model 2, quite often at the end of the lesson, there is some kind of reflection.
Yeah, so self-assessing kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
charts
So
and
we've
then-
read a text, for example. What helped you understand bits and pieces there, right? Which strategies you're going to implement later on when you read the same texts, yeah? Something like that, you know. Helping them evaluate the experience during the lesson and maybe collect information, yeah, so that you can improve your lessons in the future. That's also feedback if you think about that.
Okay.
And if you work with kids, perhaps you can give feedback on behavior.
Definitely, yeah, because like frowns, smiles on the board, erasing letters, like play, no playing. Yeah, these techniques, of course.
Stickers, yes.
Yeah.
Stickers, effects,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some people give sweets to their kids. I'm against that. I have two kids myself, so I know what it is like. Yeah, if they're allergic, for example, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's been a very fruitful discussion, guys. Thank you very much. So let's keep that in mind. So here I'm showing you two metaphors about language teaching, of course. Yeah, does it ring a bell?
Yes.
Yes, students are empty vessels, yeah, and we pour knowledge into their heads, yeah, mind, whatever, yeah. Which approaches come to mind?
Centered.
Yeah, so deductive, yeah, they know nearly nothing, yeah, I know everything, I'm the only source of information, here we go, yeah. PPP, yeah, grammar translation, audiolingualism if you want, yeah, many different approaches. And then the second approach, which to be honest is more appealing to me, hopefully you have the same opinion.
But it doesn't work like this. It's still working a lot, gardening this plant.
Well, we can't see the gardener, but it doesn't mean they're not there, right?
I didn't have this metaphor.
I love it actually, because, you know, I want to emphasize that teachers can be facilitators. Yeah, instead of like feeding them with whatever, yeah, you need to see whether they need it or not, or they can survive without you. Yeah, sometimes we don't take a pause and we just give them something. Yesterday, my daughter talked to me about her CELTA experience, and she was like, one of the teachers said, think before sending them to breakout rooms, and she would give like 3 minutes for thinking, and that was crazy. Like too much time for thinking. Sometimes, yes, it can be, of course, too much, but thinking time is very important, because that's how you see actually what they're capable of, yeah, and stronger students won't be dominating there. Anyway, so which approaches are behind this facilitator role?
Communicative approach.
Yeah, give me more specific ideas.
Natural approaches.
Yeah, good, natural, absolutely.
Community, yeah.
Good, community
when
learning,
yeah. In the middle, yes,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think not silent way, but this one. Yeah, silent way as well, because he's kind of prompting students to speak using.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. I do not know whether.
Okay. Now I want you to use ticks and crosses. All right. Just have a look at the statements I'm showing you. Yeah. In a moment, I'll show them. And think, yes, I agree, or no, I disagree.
Partly agree. Can be.
Okay. That's a very good attitude, to be honest. Okay, Tatiana, let's start with you.
Students,
what do you think about?
Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, because this is my personal.
Are you talking about number one or all?
Yes, number one.
Okay.
So, from the very beginning.
Why does it make sense?
No, because if you do not have any grammar or just have a very poor one and try to introduce your own one while trying to apply it to the other language, it is, well, it breaks communication. Grammar is a guarantee.
Brett, please. Here.
Yeah, kind of.
I think it's
No, I do not. Well, you can also show it with your eyes, yeah, or non-verbal ways. But if we go further than just to live, trying to survive, then you'll have to learn.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, of course.
Because you know, pushki biaty, and you know, gloka kuzdra. That's what can show you how to be with grammar. And if you have grammar, you can put in it, like in the frame, anything, yeah. But if you do not know grammar, everything you learn, dyslexis, yeah, or not, will be just some kind of well, material. You cannot give a form to it.
Yeah, I agree. So it's easier to construct new utterances if you know grammatical rules, of course, yeah. But I think it's better to talk about grammaticalized lexis, to be honest. It's more healthy. It's more beneficial. Low-level students can speak, actually.
Yeah, like when you teach them, if I were you, like this structure as a set.
The chunk, yeah.
As a chunk.
You know, there are a lot of courses now where the tutors or teachers promise your teachers have always lied to you. You don't need any grammar. I'll teach you how.
No. I'm not against teaching grammar. No. You got me wrong.
But people do not want to learn it, and that's why they are first customers.
What I'm saying is, students, well, they need grammar, of course, to achieve higher levels. Yeah, but they can communicate without grammar. And that's important to consider when you give lessons. In the past, we used to rely on books with structural syllabus all the time. Yeah, grammar, and they are like patterns. And sometimes students, like if you think about the natural order hypothesis, yeah, sometimes they're not ready to acquire that, but still they have to learn it. Yeah, because the course book suggests using this or that structure. And they were learning single word items. And it was so hard for them to build up utterances in connected speech. And now we focus more on lexical chunks, functional language, so that they can, like after each lesson, they know which situations they can be successful in. Yeah. So not only grammar, but grammar too, of course. Thank you, Tatiana. Okay, who'll be next? Alena, how about you?
Number 2, you mean? Yeah.
For example, yeah, if you prefer to take another one, that's fine.
It doesn't matter for me. So the best way to learn another language is not in the classroom, but by living and working in that country. That would be perfect, to have the chance to live in another country and learn it. Actually, I know lots of examples of people who live in another country and still they don't acquire language. So it doesn't matter. I guess it's more about motivation. If you want it, you will learn language even in the center of Siberia without any foreigners next to you. If you don't want, even in the United States, you will only speak Russian. So,
yeah, I agree.
Obviously,
the motivation, is important.
Yes, obviously, this like background, which is natural, it will help you a lot. If you use it at home in your life, outside the classroom, that's a great advantage. That's helpful. That's not only
input and output, and exposure, those are emphasized here.
Lots of
great. Okay, Svetlana.
About group activities, I think nothing should be avoided. Yes, some group activities can be great. Why not? Yeah, students interact with each other. As for the teacher, maybe he shouldn't always control what the students are saying. Maybe students can, peer correction can be right, on peers can correct themselves. Right, so I'm not against group activities.
Yeah, exactly. It can encourage, promote learner autonomy, encourage higher levels of motivation and involvement. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, student talking time goes up. Yeah, Olga, the next one, pick up.
Drilling is the best way to learn language. I think it's not the best, but it's a good technique to master
useful, yeah?
pronunciation.
Very good. Yeah, pronunciation also.
Also, it increases confidence.
Yeah,
and
building
students are
confidence,
more
memory,
brilliant.
and so on. Yeah, if they've learned something but they haven't said it, yeah, they'll forget it soon. Yeah, but if you put it like into their mouth right away, yeah, it facilitates memory. Awesome. Who'll be next? Natalia.
Giving feedback on accuracy can help avoid. I think it can help avoid, of course, but it depends when you are giving this feedback, when you give it, like in which stage. If it's, of course, production stage and you interrupt the person, like to help him to pronounce the word correctly, I think it's kind of inappropriate because he loses the flow of the idea and kind of gets stuck and probably won't say anything later. Yeah, but at the end, as we have discussed already, you could put something on the board and try to work on it, on the accuracy of pronunciation or spelling or appropriacy of the word.
Very good. Yeah, amazing. And someone remind me who didn't say anything yet. Maria?
Oh, yeah. Okay, students need to be exposed to good models and natural language use. I agree with this. It's important because students listen to what's going on around and around them, and of course they do not just learn the language deliberately with the purpose. They also pick up and without noticing it even. So it's better to provide nice language when you are around students. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So exposure, yeah, authenticity, and so on. Guys, I've got a problem with this slide. I wanted to help you revise different types of lessons, but something went wrong. Help me, please.
We know this story. We do the same with our students. Oh, guys, I have forgotten something.
So what do you think I'm trying to elicit?
Systems and skills.
Exactly. Yeah. And by systems, we mean?
So it's discourse, lexis, it's grammar.
Functions, I think.
And grammar, yes, and phonology.
Phonology, of course. Yeah. So basically, we teach language here, right? Either vocabulary or lexis, if you want to put it bigger, yeah. Grammar, functional language.
Functional and phonology.
Yeah, and then within all the systems, we can teach phonology, but we also focus on, you mentioned discourse level. What else?
What was there?
Meaning.
Yes.
Pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly. All of them, right? And in terms of skills, what do we teach?
Listening, reading, writing,
and
speaking, right? Yes. Yeah, I agree with discourse level. We can add discourse here. Yeah, that's delta level, of course. Why do you think I'm showing you this? Of course, you know that. But perhaps for each lesson, we can use different lesson shapes. Yeah, the lesson frameworks will be different depending on our assumption, our goal, yeah, what our students need to work on and so on, right? Things like that. And quite often when you open up the course book, you choose the activities depending on your students' needs, right? Do you see some kind of overall purpose of the material when you open it up?
I think we do.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. And then you can identify, yeah, the purpose of each one, and you can skip those that are not relevant for your students, for example, yeah, or then they're badly designed to something else, right? So this is basically what you have to do. Bird's view at the material, and then focusing on the purpose of each bit and piece that they've asked you about.
Is this the top-down thing?
It's just the approach to this task.
Just the,
We'll talk
okay.
about that in a moment.
Mhm.
Have a look at this word cloud. We've talked about many different things, and here I'm highlighting some of the things that we've come up with. Is there anything that doesn't make sense? We don't have time to work with that word cloud properly because we'll be overrunning. But perhaps next time we can return to this word cloud and discuss it, yeah, in detail.
TSP.
Abbreviation TSP.
Yeah, I also.
TSP, it's text as a
Springboard
yes.
production.
Again,
for
text
production.
as a stimulus for production.
Yes.
It was talo,
Talo,
tavi,
As a
and
linguistic object.
Yes.
And also as a vehicle for information, TAVI. So
Mhm.
TAVI, TALA, TASP are three acronyms that you may use if you describe how text can be used.
Sorry, what about little conscious? Is it a mistake or not? Conscious.
Yeah, sorry, I think
It's
there
a
is
mistake, spelling.
Yeah, sorry about
Is
that.
it a
No
special
problem.
term? What does it mean? There's a special
Yeah,
term.
so effortless learning. It's not a special term. It's like to.
What does it mean?
Like when we are talking about natural learning.
Yeah, about acquisition. About
Okay.
acquisition.
So it's effortless, yeah.
Yeah. Is it about first language acquisition or second language acquisition?
First, because second is very difficult.
Yeah, more conscious effort. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I forgot what dogma is. Something about the text.
It's a very nice one. It's when you don't use any books.
Oh, very
You use
nice
students
one.
as the resource.
Kind of a lesson.
Students
It's
as
a
the
kind of a
resource.
lesson you choose.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kind
it
of a
was
lesson.
Scrivener, I think. No,
No,
Am I wrong?
it's a Thornbury.
Thornbury.
He and
Thornbury,
Maddock,
yes,
they
I'm sorry.
invented this method.
Yeah, I have a slide
yeah.
about the principles of dogma. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Conversation driven.
But yeah, conversation driven or material light lessons.
Light.
Yes.
Yeah,
What
right.
dogma is
A very interesting one, but I guess it's more difficult than a book based.
It's difficult,
I
yes.
can't imagine myself having this kind of
Some
lesson.
Delta trainees for Model 2 choose experimental practice using dogma. And they do research and they try to devise a lesson plan. Can you imagine a lesson plan when your material lights? Yeah, it's quite hard to do. And I have a very nice book actually about some of the experimental lessons, and dogma is included there, and there is a lesson plan. Now it's a diagram. It's a huge diagram. Like if this happens, then I go this way. If not, I go another way, and there is
more like a discussion club.
But I have read his book by Maddock and himself, Thornbury, and there are lots of activities which you can use and go from there. And he actually gives some tips where to go. So you can kind of.
But still, if you put it on paper like a formal lesson plan, it'll be quite a complex thing.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, there is an element of flexibility there, and it's very important. It's highly emphasized there. And I think we all need to develop this flexibility. And of course, when you follow course books, it's easier to be rigid and follow all the course book materials. But if we add this kind of element of flexibility, getting rid of course book materials, that's a whole new ball game, right? Okay, any other terms or something you want to ask about? Or maybe typos?
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. So I think we'll return to this word cloud next time. Maybe we'll start with that, and we'll talk about the importance of different principles highlighted there. And we'll try to figure out the assumptions. Now, a brief revision of different things. Language is a skill, remember? Yeah, Skinner mentioned that. And some other people, actually, Johnson, I think, And by skill, what we mean, we need to put it into practice. We need to form habits. Someone keeps losing the internet connection. Okay, here I've got a summary of 4 most important things. Yeah, we've mentioned all of them already, but they're not in order. Okay, I'll give you a moment to think how to match them. I think, yeah, I helped you with the first one. Yeah, language is a set of habits.
But the last one, the others one.
Yeah, you really discussed all of them. Okay, so have a look at the answers. Any surprises here?
No.
No.
Really.
Okay, you see, you're well prepared. You can give well-developed reasons for the assumptions. That's good. Now, just to give you a hint, the first letters of people's names are given.
Oh gosh.
Chomsky.
Chomsky, yes,
Oh.
Noam Chomsky,
Ah,
language
okay.
evolution, yeah.
Hymns.
Himes, Del Himes, yeah, communicative competence, absolutely.
Russian?
Is it
Russian, of
Haim?
course.
Okay. Yeah. Russian. Skinner.
No, we don't
Skinner.
have Skinner here, I'm afraid.
Scrivener.
Neither.
Louis.
Piaget is cognitive
Good.
theory.
Cognitive
Yeah, yeah.
theory and
Vygotsky.
Leo Vygotsky. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And we've also mentioned them in our discussion, so it was very productive. We also talked about different approaches. You've mentioned the direct method, audiolingualism, TBL, dogma. I think all of them, yeah? Good. Yeah, that's nice. Now, have a look. Are you ready? I'll show you the text. Okay, what's the method?
It's grammar translation.
Of course, yes. So what's behind? So we use some elements of grammar translation even now, right? It's very popular in state schools and universities, but we can use some elements, yeah, and our students can benefit from that. What are they?
Elements is like when you compare your language and this
Yes,
language.
comparative
language.
analysis, relying on L1 knowledge. Good. What else?
It also helps with some probably look at some cognates.
Yeah, very good. Again, an element of comparative analysis. Yeah. Yeah.
In intensive, intensive reading, intensive.
Yeah, lots of reading, written discourse. Yeah, is our priority. Focus on that. And focus, Maria.
Noticing.
Yes,
as well as we're working with the text.
Maybe, yeah, but definitely focus on accuracy. Grammar rules first, yeah, deductive approach, then practice, things like that. So I'm showing the most important, yeah, features of this approach. Which ones we are still using?
Bilingual word list.
Yeah, absolutely, we can do.
Focus on accuracy.
Control practice. I know it's important.
Rules,
yeah,
yes.
and hopefully you can justify why you are using some elements from this method, right? Now, remember in the past, yeah, after grammar translation, there was another movement against using L1.
Natural.
What appeared?
Natural approach.
Direct method.
Direct method.
Yeah. So what did they use instead? Instead of L1, what can help?
Realia?
Yes.
No?
What else?
Realia, yes. Miming gestures.
Yes, so lots of visual aids. Very good. What approach to teaching grammar? Inductive or deductive?
Deductive still?
No, inductive.
Inductive.
Guided discovery. Let them work out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, less explicit explanation and so on. Yeah, Those are the principles of the direct method, yeah. And then audiolingualism was quite similar because they appeared, yeah, nearly at the same time. What else is there in the audiolingualism that is not highlighted here?
Drills?
Yes, lots of repetitions, imitation, yeah, habit formation. What else? If we, they have something.
Focus on pronunciation, probably.
Yeah. Again, accuracy is important, but now if we compare it with grammar translation, focus on the oral forms, yeah. And of course, both of them are very teacher-centered, yeah. In spite of using some inductive methods, yeah, they are relatively teacher-centered. Yeah. Have I forgotten about something? Maybe I need to add something to this word cloud. What do you think? No? Looks fine. Okay. So we are going to move on. And here is a summary, yeah, how the methods were evolving and developing from grammar translation to something with less use of the first language, to habit formation, skill developing theories of skills, language as a skill, I mean, and then communicative and post-communicative approaches. What do you think will be behind communicative? If we put this umbrella term, what can we name as an example of a communicative approach?
Task-based learning is
good,
one
absolutely.
example.
First of all, yeah, we would think about task-based learning.
I think lexical approach is also more communicative, more
yeah, I would say it belongs to post-communicative, but yes, they go together, absolutely. What else?
Dogme is absolutely communicative.
Yeah. What's the difference between the previous methods and the ones that we call communicative or post-communicative?
We are focused on the meaning, like the content of our speech.
Absolutely. What else?
Functional language is also
yes, because fluency is more important, yeah. And if you learn chunks, it helps, yeah. And unlike those that were teacher-centered, now, yeah, we try to turn it into more learner-centered.
Yes, you're right.
So this word cloud is about communicative language teaching, and the next is going to be about post-communicative, yeah? We're still there in the post-communicative era. So tell me, what do you think I'm going to show in a moment?
Eclecticism.
Yeah, the principle of eclecticism.
Eclecticism, yes.
What else?
Something else.
I said
this is an example of everything.
And lexical
PBL will be still there. What else?
A learner's autonomy.
Good.
Developing of learners.
Very good. Importance on developing strategies. Yeah. Learning skills. Yeah. Study skills, if you want.
It's like
lexical approach. And one more approach that we haven't mentioned yet. When you teach another subject in English, for example.
Oh, yeah.
It's CLIL.
Yeah. But we can use soft CLIL in our lessons, right? An element of CLIL. Okay. No surprises here, right? I'm going to give you a hint about one of the approaches. So you have 30 seconds to look at it, and then I'll ask you what it is. Yeah, makes sense. What is it?
Lexical approach.
Yes, that's what Michael Lewis was highlighting in his first book, The Lexical Approach. Yeah, chunks, text-based presentations, context is very important, using dictionary skills, yeah, developing dictionary skills, and also helping students recycle, revise. Yeah, so record keeping was emphasized there. Now, how about these? Good, here you recognize material light lessons, conversation-driven lessons, yeah? But there is one point that is actually false, it's not true.
Yes. Yes, it's interesting. I think
Well,
no
maybe
teaching,
about
teaching materials.
It's
Maybe
the
there
interactivity.
still can be some teaching
Yes.
materials.
That's what I,
Okay.
sorry, I can't change the slide. Yeah, so this obviously is not true. One of my daughters attended some Delta classes. Well, I mean, when teachers took Delta, yeah, she was a student, a TP student. And I remember when they experimented with dogma, yeah, we went home together and she told me a lot about the teaching materials that were used. She got the idea though, like they did their best not to use any teaching materials, but actually, you know what? They used handouts, she told me.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's unavoidable. You sort of anticipate some problems. You know what kind of scaffolding is necessary at a certain stage. And of course, you can use some handouts, for God's sake, it's not forbidden. It's just you're not very dependent on course book materials. Right. Do we have a question here? What makes a task communicative? When you see a task in a course book, sometimes you're very happy. Yes, the students will like it. The topic is great, right? And also there is this kind of goal that they will have to reach. Yeah. So
there must be info gaps. They need to share
information gap activities. That's one of the examples. Give me more examples of communicative activities.
Also about personalization, I think.
Yes, personalized tasks. Again, they are, of course, selected wisely in terms of the topic. So that students feel they're appealing and they want to share something. And of course, there is information, natural information, because they have different opinions, different experiences. What else?
Well, all sorts of mingling, like questionnaires and surveys.
The same thing again, because they have different information. Information gap. How about low-level students? Sometimes you can't create something natural, but you still turn it into something goal-oriented. What do you do?
Yeah, like making lists. And
prioritizing.
Like prioritizing.
Ranking, absolutely. What else?
Can it be a kind of role play, but it will be like unnatural sometimes?
Or simulation, role play.
Very good. Again, a role play so that they feel the need to use the language and they're solving some kind of problem, maybe.
Some tasks.
So problem solving.
So there are some other activities, of course, we can use. And here I'm showing a few examples. I used to run a workshop on dogma, and you know, in their book, Thornberry and Maddox, they're highlighting quite a few activities, as Natalia, you've mentioned. All of them are communicative. There is a goal, and that's what we like about it. So when you come to a lesson without any materials, you have an idea in mind how to engage students, and you also anticipate what language they will need for this, to make this lesson relevant for them, right? All right. So when you consider how languages are learned, we've mentioned, first of all, we think about the exposure. That's why we use text-based presentation, or if it's not a text-based presentation, context setting is still important, at the beginning of the lesson. And before we focus on language to help them notice and so on, we focus on understanding the context, right? Then hopefully they will notice, you've mentioned that, and then gradually they can practice and produce something. As Bedstone is saying, it's not sufficient. I think he's criticizing Russian series, right? It's not enough just to notice. Input is important, of course, but how about output? That's also important. And yes, we've mentioned these three just to highlight. Remember the second one?
A language object.
Yes, when we teach language, when we help them notice. And yes, Springboard, for production. Yeah, I'll share the slides after the lesson, so don't worry. But it's good if you're taking notes, because you can make use of your notes and make assumptions later on. Now, have a look at this activity. How are we using the text in this case?
Information.
Yes, first it's information. And we select text according to our students' knowledge, interests, and so on and so forth. Everything we've mentioned, I'm just summarizing. It's good that I've elicited everything from you. What are the tasks we can use to check comprehension?
Just objective kind of test, like true, false.
Yeah, true, false is a good one.
Multiple choice.
Questions, yeah. Maybe selecting the right title or accompanying picture or something like that. Maybe ordering events, especially if it's a human interest story, that can work well, right? Okay, then we exploit the text further, and we're using this as a linguistic object. For example, you ask the students, find all the verb forms. Yeah, let's imagine they've highlighted that, yeah, and then you ask them, maybe you give them a guided discovery sheet with some questions so that they can figure out the difference. Maybe you run a teacher-led presentation, but still, first they notice things. And what are the tasks? Find the language, which forms, yeah, mean blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yes. What other ideas have you got?
Find the words that mean this.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Matching words and definitions. Yeah. Maybe deducing meaning from context as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so sorry, I should have stopped here. Yeah, the same thing. Or just explain the choice. Why we are using this tense here or another thing there. And finally, of course, yeah, have a look. Does the text resonate with you? Yeah, what do you think? Tell me more about it. Yeah, and it's a springboard for production. Again, the choice of the text is very important. And of course, the genre dictates the choice of tasks that you are designing for your students, right? And of course, you can arrange a role play or a discussion or whatever, yeah? If the topic is well selected, they'll be saying a lot, yeah, hopefully, and speaking at length. Right, okay, let me just skip through the slides because I want to move to the material evaluation, right? Have a look. Do you know this course
outcome?
It is, yeah, okay. So I'm going to share the file so that you can see the files, all the pages, yeah, better quality. Here is the thing. Open it up on your laptop. My battery is going low. Can you see it? Okay. What do you think is the overall purpose of this material? What might be the overall purpose? I'll give you a moment to look because there are 3 pages there.
They are written, no?
Yes, actually on the first page, yeah, the authors have highlighted some of the things, but if you look at the 3 pages, you need to prioritize, yeah, not everything is there, it's not the whole unit. Those are the first couple of pages from the unit.
I'm sorry, where is the material?
It's in the chat box.
Can you resend it, please?
Yeah, sure. Can you see it now?
No, the chat box is empty.
Okay, it's okay. I have a backup plan. I can share it in another using Google. Hold on. Have a look.
Thanks.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so what do you think? What might be the overall purpose?
So if you will look at the final activity, I think it's a conversation or speaking or information sharing about the habits
Good.
on music, I don't
Talking
know,
about
TV.
habits. Absolutely
habits.
right. That's the first, I think, point, yeah, in that list on the first page. Yeah, talk about habits. That's what they're doing there. And then describing something, I think, will appear later in other pages. Keeping that overall purpose in mind. I want you to look at all tasks step by step and think how they contribute to that overall purpose. So for example, let's look at the first page, speaking activity 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, it's used as a lead-in to motivate students to talk about it, yeah, to raise interest. And then
hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
For each activity, you can think of a couple of purposes. So generating interest, introducing the topic, already too. What else?
Add some vocabulary to use in their sharing.
Are you adding any vocabulary here?
It can be also like assessing what they know, what they don't know already.
Yes.
A diagnostic tool. What else?
We are still speaking about the first picture, am I right?
Yes,
the first.
We can brainstorm more. Have a look at the rubric, have a look at the instructions. There is something that gives you a hint.
Photo is a prompt.
Using visuals.
Visuals, yes.
What for?
To activate their participation.
Yeah, to motivate them. Yeah, good. Okay. What else do you see there?
I see that he asks you to change partners, so it's like more sharing is involved. To exchange ideas and probably to get more vocabulary. Yes.
There is also an element of task repetition. Yeah, they discuss that with one partner, then they change partners, they talk again about the same things, or they summarize their findings. Yeah, they are more confident there.
That's right.
Consolidates their the way they talk about it.
And maybe stealing ideas from others.
Exactly, they can make ideas from each other. Yeah, they learn from each other all the time. Absolutely. Guys, do you prefer to continue in this whole class manner?
We can do in pairs.
I can split you into pairs now, and you continue doing the same things. Yeah.
So we're talking about each activity.
It's not an exam task yet, but you'll be doing the same thing, in that part. Okay. So I'll give you 10 minutes. So talk over all of their activities. All right.
Listening first, like pre-listening. Do you read much? Do you watch much? So again, as Mary, remember you said engage, activate the schemata, or what are all these terms of self-tend to soul. And then habit, he kind of explains and gives some structures to help us to understand the listening better, like used to, rarely, all the time.
Yeah, and so this we can assume this material is not new. I suppose this is
Revision.
B1, probably B2.
It's B2. It's upper intermediate.
B2. Yes. So it's like a revision. Yes, a revision.
Okay,
After
guys, can I just interrupt you here?
Yeah.
So you've mentioned that the first one is what? Context setting or what?
the first is like pre-listening activity, activate the
Why
schemata.
pre-listening? Listen to the answers. It's
No,
listening.
it's already listening.
Not pre, it is read.
There are for the main for the gist, listening for the gist.
Yes,
Like,
it's listening.
do
for
you
this.
read
What for?
much? There are 2 questions only. Do you watch TV?
What for?
What for? To get the idea of their listening.
Look, the overall purpose is to talk about habits. Why do we need this recording?
Yes, they need to hear examples of language.
Good. Exposure.
Yes, to talk, yes,
We are more
language
exposure.
exposure. Yes, language exposure.
And what is exercise 2 for?
This is already to activate the language. They make a focus on grammar.
To notice this language in the
Good.
listening.
Amazing.
Yes, like
So to notice useful language they can use later on when talking about habits.
Their habits.
Okay, continue.
All right, so that's
so
number
it was number 2. Number 3 is here.
Okay, so let's move on.
Mhm.
And exercise to find 2 ways to talk about it. Yeah, and here we have noticed these structures, and now we try to talk about the meaning of these structures.
Very good.
So we talked about the poem, we talked about pronunciation, so it's time for meaning.
It looks like guided discovery, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you think about it, yeah, of course, it's not explicit there, yeah, like they have to do it on their own first and then with partners, but basically that's what is initially designed.
So every time they have like peer checking and so on here. As Svetlana, probably you can talk because I'm like talking too much. Sorry.
No. I like when you talk. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what number? Sorry.
I think we can talk about number 4.
Check your ideas. It's personalization, maybe. Yeah? Or what? Personal, yeah.
Yes, and it's already kind of practice here.
Personalization, productive stage.
Yeah, for me, it's always like they miss something here. It seems to me that it's not enough, just straight from the presentation, they have production. So I would add here some practice, which is controlled just to like.
But exercise 4, do you think it's production already? Complete the sentences.
Yeah, but it's like filling the gaps here, but it's not still enough.
So it's more like controlled. Yeah, I used to, and then they just add ideas.
One exercise.
Yeah, I see.
Will be really
you see, you have at the bottom for further practice page, blah, blah, and there are more controlled practice tasks.
Okay. So in this case, yes. So in number 4, we have, as we've decided, controlled practice, which will help them to see if they understood it well, if they can use it, and so on. So what can you say? Probably Tatiana can speak now.
About 5th? Write 5 questions about questions. Now we are practicing grammar because this task is kind of drill. Yeah, write 5. Do you much? Just controlled practice as well.
I think it's controlled here.
Write 5. Do you more much questions about it? Think about this and that why not?
Freer practice.
Exactly. It's like preparation for freer practice. So writing questions is just preparatory, but then they'll be asking each other and discussing their habits.
So it's free practice, I think.
Okay.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so I'm not sure again, but if I were a teacher, I would stop here and next lesson will be already vocabulary, but it's just my point of view.
Yeah, that makes sense. How long will be your lesson then?
It depends on my students, obviously. Actually, I guess I don't know how many exercises I have in this part where we have further practice.
Yeah.
And it can be about 60 or 80 minutes. And I can also add some exercises.
Makes sense. Yeah, I agree.
And it will be enough, I think.
Anyway, because you are given these activities too, think about how they can be beneficial, of benefit for students if they want to talk about habits in the future.
So do you mean about these activities or what?
Yeah, the next page.
Okay, this is already
so you're saying this is a lesson on vocabulary. Well, actually, there are many different bits and pieces on this page, not necessarily vocabulary, but one of the sections is vocabulary.
Yeah, I can guess that this vocabulary may be connected somehow to listening, but I can't see the script.
It's not.
So probably it's
Unfortunately, it's completely decontextualized.
Lots of questions to Della because I normally have like books where we have everything taken from one, like everything is connected here.
Not in this case.
So I guess it should be also kind of leading if it's the first, then kind of presentation stage, because we can't just say, okay, open and do exercise.
Okay, what you are saying that in the course book, we don't have some kind of input on that.
Yeah.
But what is exercise 4 for? What's the purpose of it?
4?
No, I mean from vocabulary section. Oh, 6, I'm sorry, 6. I am blind.
Just to present vocabulary and to practice it. Here we have pre-information, let's say, some words, and then we practice them. But again, then they are not presented with in context, so it's quite difficult for students to understand what these words mean.
What might be the idea behind that?
To check whether they know or not.
Very good, Svetlana. It's a test.
Check. Whether they know or not.
It's a matching task, and they have to match normal adjectives to extreme adjectives here. And some of them they will know, some of them will match easily, and the rest will be done with this kind of principle of getting rid of something unknown. And gradually, hopefully, they'll learn some of the new words.
Okay, but still.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like this bit. Don't get me wrong. But it's good to evaluate it because
I even don't. Pronunciation is connected to this.
Yes,
that's great.
Really,
yeah, it's okay. So pronunciation is connected to this, so I can see at least some logic. Listening. So I can say that next listening will be connected. So probably this vocabulary was pre-teach of vocab for listening, which we have here.
Maybe they might be using some of the words here from this exercise.
Because it's written here that they use like weird and so on, so probably. But we need to present the aim of the exercise. So the aim of the exercise is to practice vocabulary.
Yeah, to introduce, to practice, to test, focus on vocabulary.
We should use it.
Focus on meaning, form of pronunciation in that case.
So here we've got meaning and probably form, because we can talk about very, really, absolutely, and so on.
That's right.
Pronunciation is separately here, so we definitely talk about it. And here we've got some production in 9, which may help us too.
So like test, teach, test,
kind of. Then listening. So people talking about decide which statement is true. This is listening for gist.
Right. How is that important in terms of building conversations about habits?
Because here they are going to organize a dialogue about their habits.
So it's a model text, right?
Yes.
Good job.
Okay. So then we've got detailed already.
All right. Yeah. Quite a lot of activities, right?
Yeah, too
Some
many.
of them are more obvious than others. And it's good that you were looking at the material with a critical eye. I could see that you didn't like some of the things there. What are they? What have you criticized?
We didn't criticize, or we haven't criticized. We tried to figure out the purpose of each.
Yeah.
Maybe why it's in this flow. I mean, like why he included them. Like, isn't it a kind of repetition or?
By he, you are talking about Hugh Della, I assume. It's a big H, right? Okay. So what makes this piece of material good, in your opinion?
It provides us with pre-practice that is quite important for students. And sometimes when I don't have a book which has this kind of tasks, it's very difficult to figure them out and prepare them for my students so that they could be related to topic, to vocabulary, to grammar at the same time. So that's useful, really.
And he provides
step-by-step approach, and there is fluency-based tasks. Yeah, good.
He also provides with vocabulary, necessary vocabulary, and also reminds us about functional language, like used to, like I would like to. So
grammar, structures first, then vocabulary, then functional language.
And also connected speech, because there was an exercise on practicing repeating the sentences. The whole sentences.
Good, okay. Fluency-based, yeah, and well, accuracy, oral form. Okay, what else?
Exposure through listening. Both times.
Yes.
We haven't seen any reading text here, or there was.
Yeah. The listening texts are used, yeah.
So it means this whole passage.
Not for vocabulary, though.
Yeah, this whole passage mostly practice listening skills. But not speak. I mean, the speaking as well, and of course. But
why do we use text, listening text, in a lesson on speaking?
To mine for vocabulary and for
yes,
ideas,
to notice
for
language,
content.
Yeah, to make ideas, and also as a model for speaking, right?
And also practice listening skills. Why not? There was some general, listening for the gist and for detail.
Well, that too, yeah, subsidiary aims. So what kind of list we can create in terms of how we can express purposes? How can we put it? Like, what's the purpose of this task? What's the language? What useful language we can take notes of?
Language related to films, books.
No. I'm talking about
the whole lesson.
Yeah, so the overall purpose is developing speaking skills, talking about habits. Now, the purpose of the first activity is to generate interest, to introduce the topic, to engage learners in the topic, to involve them, in talking with different partners, things like that. We use a lot infinitives of purpose to do this. Yeah, that's the language that you'll be using in part A. Yeah, I'll show you the sample in a moment, and we'll work on that. So part A is to state purposes of activities. Sometimes they give you 4 activities, sometimes 3, but you will have to produce 6 purposes, and you will earn 12 points, like 2 points for each purpose, if it is correctly stated. The next bit will be how the activities are combined. So, for example, I don't know, speaking, and listening. Listening is used as a model for speaking, something like this. Or, I don't know, guided discovery, because we want to help students figure out the rules that are necessary for using, in the following task, to talk about habits or something like that. So some combinations, connections, links. Again, infinitive of purpose can be used there as well. And again, you'll have to produce 6 points there.
Okay, so firstly, we talk about the aims of each exercise, which is for
I'll
like
show
for
you the task
students.
in a moment. Yeah. So purpose of each activity that is mentioned in the rubric, then how they are connected. Again, they will be giving you which exercises to look at, and how they're connected to the previously mentioned activities. And finally, there will be a list of assumptions. Why do you think the authors are doing what they're doing there, right? What do you think, what are the principles they are relying on? Yeah, and you will have to make, again, 6 points there, 6 assumptions at least. And you will have to give reasons for the assumptions. And the language will be like that. It's important to, for example, develop fluency or to focus on accuracy because, and you're giving a reason. You can refer to different theories, to different approaches. That's where you show your understanding. But you also have to refer to the activities mentioned in that task. It's always there. Okay, so let's have a look. Oops, sorry, I think that's the wrong screen. I've got it, yeah, bigger here. So we have activities, effective materials. Yeah, let me just remind you of some Tomlinson's criteria for material evaluation. Have a look. We've mentioned exposure, yeah, and authentic language use. That's something that you can highlight in the assumptions. Then opportunities to use the target language and communicative focus of tasks. You've mentioned that as well. Then if you think about using visuals, yeah, using listening recordings, listening texts, written prompts and so on, you cater for different learning styles. Yeah? Then if there is this thinking time, have a look, think, then maybe silent period is allowed. Yeah, and it makes your lesson more reflective and hopefully more memorable, more effective. Then different emotional components can be used and some other things, yeah, depending on the topic and personalized things and so on. Controlled practice, yeah, but not too much. Some of you said that there isn't enough controlled practice task. Well, maybe that's the reason, yeah, not to rely too much on accuracy. So fluency first type of approach. Relevant, useful, linguistic features. So input is important, which should be comprehensible. And yeah, their readiness, it's basically the same thing, I+1, yeah? So those are big things to consider. Now, because the next material that I'll be showing, they come from the handbook actually. Have you looked at the handbook? No, not yet. So they're connected with these principles. I'm highlighting you 3 definitions. And all of them are connected. Yeah, we'll figure that out in a moment. What do you think is defined in the first one? Have a look.
Sorry.
Learner's autonomy.
Absolutely right. How about the second one?
Awareness.
Learner awareness, yeah, probably.
Yeah, awareness is a good thing, but Scrivener defined training.
Training.
And finally, something practical. We often do that when we prepare for exams.
Criteria. Oh.
So for example, you don't know the word, what can you do? You ignore it. What's that?
Strategy.
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 So these 3 things will be particularly important for the task that we'll be working on at the moment. Now, what can we do to integrate these things into our lessons? Learn autonomy, what do we do to promote that?
Create, well, mind all these things when we are choosing a task.
Yeah.
Just have it in mind.
Yeah, so instead of telling them the rules, Yeah, you ask them to work out the rules. You use guided discovery, inductive approach, yeah, to grammar, for example, yeah, and that's how you can promote learner autonomy. And also when they teach each other, when they learn from each other, peer teaching, again, you're promoting learner autonomy. So all student-centered activities, pair work, things like that, yeah, will be helping you. How about training, learner training? What do we do for that?
Maybe using dictionary, you train how to use.
Absolutely.
How to find some material or do
like
some
project
research.
kind of tasks.
Yeah. Showing them how to take notes. Yeah. If they're given some planning time, what exactly they have to take notes of, like their plan or the language they'll be using, or how to connect ideas, or how to introduce their point of view, whatever. You're giving them certain tools and you are training them. And then strategies, of course, when they can apply those this knowledge, yeah, already. Right. Yeah, so some of the ideas are highlighted here on the slide. Hopefully there is nothing new for you, but just a kind of summary, and it might be helpful in the future. Yeah, goal setting, we haven't mentioned that yet, but yeah, that's another thing.
Class contract.
Writing a summary of the lesson is such a good thing.
A class contract, yeah, is a good idea. Like, what do you think you are responsible for? Like, you come with homework done, for example.
It's like we have rules in our
class. At the beginning of the school.
Establish the boundaries. It is actually recommended for teens, but I think even adult learners can benefit from that. Yeah, because some of them are reluctant to do homework, but if you raise the awareness that the effectiveness will depend on that, yeah, so probably. Okay, so let's move on. And, oops, yeah, why do we need animation here? I don't know, sorry, it takes some time. But those are the most important principles that we've mentioned already. Yeah, all of them come from the communicative approach and our principled eclecticism, of course. Yeah. Right. Inductively, yeah. So let's have a look at the sample task. It looks like that. Now, bird's view, don't worry, I'll give you the sample of proper quality. First, bird's view. What do you see on the right?
Well,
just from the text.
An extract, yeah, from a teaching material. Well, yes, usually it is a teaching material, course book usually. What do you see on the left?
Rubric.
Yes. So what we have, the focus of the task, to evaluate teaching materials. What is given? The material, the extract. What is required? Yeah, and we have 3 things. Yeah. Part A, 6 purposes in relation to the purpose of the whole extract. Do you have to figure out the whole purpose?
It's given.
It's given, exactly. The material is given and the overall purpose is given. First, you start on that. You highlight it for yourself because you have to refer to it every time you are making the next point. Yeah. So 6 purposes, and they're pointing it out here, like which exercises to look at. Then 6 ways how they are connected, combined, in relation to the previously mentioned activities. Yeah. And finally, 6 key assumptions important for language learning. And again, with reference to the activities, and they're highlighting the activities there. Okay, let me clarify it step by step. First, it's a longer written response. Yeah, you produce quite a lot of phrases there. It can be a bulleted point list, of course, yeah, in all parts, step by step. Part A, 12 points you can earn by making 6 purposes. Yeah, then you highlight 6 connections, how the activities are combined. Again, you can earn 12 points. And then you can create 6 assumptions, a list of 6 assumptions for part C, referring to the activities again.
So does it mean that we get 2 points for each correct answer in the first A and B? And
yes, 2 points for each purpose, 2 points for each link, and 1 point for each assumption, 1 for the reason, and 1 for the reference to their activity in the final part and C. Now, it's a very important task. You will have to spend like about 40 minutes doing it. And the point is to analyze, not just describe what you can see, evaluate it. Now, if you are using some old sample papers, in the past, there used to be 2 tasks, task 2 and task 3. Now it's 1 task, task 2, and it is a combination of the previously designed 2 and 3. So if you can see, yeah, that the connections, how the exercises are connected is task 3, don't worry too much, it's just an old sample, but you can still use it for training purposes. Right. Now, what do you think is important? Here I'm highlighting 11 tips, yes, statements. Do you think all of them are true? Is it a good idea to read the rubric carefully?
You sure?
Of course. How about the rest of them? Have a look.
We know number 2, it is written in the rubric, so we don't need it.
Yes, you don't figure it out, you just highlight it for yourself. Yeah, good. Number 3?
3 is true.
Yes.
True. That's the first part. That's basically, oops, sorry. Okay, I'm highlighting it. That's okay. Yeah, so the first one is A, yeah, number 4. The purpose of each activity and relate the purpose to the overall thing, not just the purpose in general, like it's a good lead-in. Why do we need this lead-in? For a lesson on speaking, right? Then writing about the combinations, how they support each other. That's part B. And part C, assumptions and reasons. And then you're given an example or reference. Sometimes just in brackets you put like exercise 3, for example. So this is basically what 3 parts are like in a concise form. Purpose, combinations, assumptions. If you think about some prompts, like what language we can use, we have already figured out that we can use infinitive of purpose. Whatever the sample task is, collect that, yeah, create a kind of phrase book, yeah, for yourself, and make a list of the phrases that you've used already. That will help you. But basically, they will be to do something, yeah, to introduce the topic, to generate interest, to give control practice, to focus on form, and so on. The most important thing, useful questions to keep in mind, how will that help in terms of the overall purpose? So you always refer to the whole purpose. Otherwise, your answers won't be counted. So if we look at the first sample task, which I'm going to send, hold on, I can't share the screen and do it at the same time. Okay, that should be it. It should appear in the chat box, and if necessary, I can send you the link to Google.
And the link, please.
Yeah, I'm copying, that's okay. So have a look at the whole thing.
Who remembers how to change it into the horizontal
Yeah,
position?
I
like this?
also wanted to.
There is a round arrow kind of.
It depends on the
Oh yeah, on the
you're
left.
using.
I guess it should be like, it's not for free. Okay.
Yes, it's also not for free for me as well.
Oh, it will be very interesting way of work. Oh, I can print it. Just...
Alena, help me now.
I can just print it. I have the printer here. It's like...
My printer is in the next room. I have to run there.
That's okay. We can take a pause. If you want to print it out, if it facilitates work, you can do, no problem.
Okay, just a minute. I will do.
So let's have a look at the first one, A1. Yeah, everyone can see it. What comes to mind? What might be the purpose of this activity? Yeah, by the way, what's the overall purpose?
To teach them use dictionary.
Exactly, dictionary skills, yeah?
It is so boring, gosh. Why are they choosing such lessons?
I think that
they've reprinted the handbook several times, but they keep using the same example. They are very, very mean. They don't want to share new examples with us, like official samples. Just crazy, but I think it's a very good example because, you know, sometimes you don't consider things like that. Yeah. Anyway, so what is A1 for?
So exposure, like okay, like the purpose is to expose the students to their initial steps.
Look, A1.
Yeah.
Look
A1.
at the dictionary opposite, find an example of noun plus, what
plus
is it?
Something, yeah, a noun, verb, and so on and so on.
Yeah, okay. Why do you think it's exposure? This activity, is it exposure or something else here?
Can it be like the checking of understanding of meta language?
Absolutely right. So it's basically to help them notice, and also you are checking whether they know what noun, verb, and other things like that, what they mean. Yeah, that's it. And also, of course, because they start working with dictionaries there, you are sort of preparing them for using dictionaries in the future. That's also, again, we also think about the overall purpose. Okay, so how about A2? Natalia, are you with us?
Yes, I got my paper.
Good. We've just looked at A1 and we've decided the students will notice some of the things in the text, but also they'll be we'll be checking the understanding of meta language, like noun, verbs, and so on, parts of speech. How about A2?
Funny thing.
Come again?
It's funny. No,
funny. I like this.
I like this activity.
Maybe to also to identify the part of speech, like I'm going to watch. It's like verb.
Yes.
So
it's like one word can have different functions.
Oh, different meanings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But
what makes it funny? Visuals?
The whole like the exercise.
Okay.
Yes,
The
just to
design
show
looks appealing, yeah.
actually.
Okay. Okay. What can? Yeah. By the way, do they have to write something down here?
Complete the sentences.
Yes. No, no, it doesn't say they have to write. They have to work with the partner to do it. So it doesn't say. Students might have questions, by the way. They will start doing it orally.
Okay, but anyway, the focus is on form now. Yeah, they have to come up with the words for the pictures. Good. Okay. How about number 3? A3.
So sorry if I so what do we say in the purpose? The purpose is to focus their attention on form.
Yeah, yeah.
In number 2.
Form, if you think they don't have to write, for me, complete the sentences, it means to write them down. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not explicit here. Anyway, they're focusing on, at least on oral form. And the focus is on meaning here.
But is this purpose about, like, we don't have a system lesson here. It's not about language. It's more about learner autonomous, developing learner autonomous. Shouldn't we connect this purpose to the learner autonomous? Like, we need to emphasize here that these words are homophones. Am I right?
Okay, the words that are spelled in the same way but pronounced differently, they're homophones. Yeah, but if they're pronounced in the same way, like match.
Homographs.
They're written in. Graphs are written in the same way.
Yes, written, written.
And homonym are written and pronounced in the same way. Only the meaning is different.
I mix them, and I mixed this during the demo, during our mock exam.
Because phone is what you hear. Pronunciation is the same. Graph spelling is the same. Yeah, and homonym is basically both of them are different.
Here they are homonyms. Can't we just say that? This is the aim of this task.
Yeah, you can say to focus on homonyms, to focus on different meanings. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. How about A3? Let's have a look at A3. I'll show you the recommended answers. You will see the whole list, don't worry.
So here the same words, but in written form.
Yes.
Written form. So it means that the previous exercise was oral.
But it is again about, Alena was right actually, because they developed the idea of words used having different meanings. So the purpose is to show that words have different meanings, like to cook, like
to show. So it's a kind of input or what?
To focus their attention.
Identify.
Good, to identify, to check understanding. To focus on form, you've mentioned that. Yes, very good. And also we have in both sentences, in both exercises, we have sentences. What are we using sentences for?
For the context.
To contextualize the target language. Yeah. To expose to the target language in context. Yeah, but yes, checking understanding, of course, is our priority here in terms of the overall purpose. Okay, how about B4? That's been highlighted in the rubric.
Transcription.
So, what's that for?
To learn how to pronounce the words. And it will be difficult for students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we focus on phonemic script?
Because in a dictionary they have phonemic script.
Exactly. To prepare them for seeing and using phonemic script in dictionaries. Yeah. Focus on that. And also perhaps to match, to see the how they can coincide, the written form and the oral
sounds,
form.
Yes, or some letters, clusters.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Okay. So you see, we can always find a couple of purposes, yeah? And of course you can prioritize. If they give you too many activities, one purpose will be enough. But if they give you only 3, you will have to make 2 purposes for each activity, yeah, for example. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one should be B5.
This is like they have to use given knowledge.
Yeah, to activate
To activate it.
Yeah, yeah. Have a look at the words given there. What do you notice? Why they've selected
silent
letters.
Very good. You see, the more specific you are, the better. Just focus on pronunciation and find it in dictionary, that's good. But if you mention silent letters, that's even better.
So we write like to practice pronouncing or to draw their attention to the pronunciation of words with silent letters.
Silent letters, yeah. To raise awareness of silent letters or something like that, yeah. Okay, and finally we have B6.
Okay, listen and check.
Checking.
To compare, yes, the written script with the pronunciation.
And listening.
Oral.
And what's that for?
To compare.
What's that?
Getting feedback? No. Can it be? No. Okay.
To correct.
Remember, from receptive to
no, it's about yes. It's like
so they have
linking.
to say
Linking. It's like you have to link.
Yeah, and by putting it into practice, yeah, you're building confidence. You're helping them remember that. Better.
Remember, yeah. Remembering and.
All right. Okay. So I think I can show you the recommended answers right now. Yeah, they are. Yeah, by the way, useful language, yeah. The exercise extends, provides, allows, yeah, as an alternative to infinitive of purpose. Or just to extend, to allow, to check, and so on. That's also possible. And the recommended answers. We've mentioned the most important things.
So should it look like that or similar to that, the answer?
You know, the recommended answers include more points that you have to make. You have to choose only 6. So if you are given 6 activities, it's better to spread, yeah, your attention and mention a purpose of each. So there will be 1 point for each activity. Answer. Does it make sense, guys? Yeah, okay, let's move on. I'll share a prompt that I've created for my trainees with useful language and the structure, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, now part B, how the activities are combined. What can you say there? So you pick up the activity highlighted in the rubric, for example, exercise 7, then is combined with, and then you mentioned the activity mentioned in A with exercise 1, for example, yeah, as it, yeah. So you can consider several things such as language focus, context, topic, methodology, like why we have to contextualize, for example, or personalize or whatever. Oops, I'm not showing you that. No. Oops. First, let's have a look. So what we've got in the rubric is C7. So how C7 is connected to the activities mentioned previously, A and B.
Not to C9, so it's like C7.
Yeah, C7 and
previous.
C9.
Yes, yes, C7 to something else. So comment on 6 ways in which the exercises listed in the box, C7 is in the box, combine with the exercises discussed in A.
Oh. Okay. They're the same words in the dictionary.
Yeah. So
it was
what can we say?
pre-teach vocab, we can say, or something like this.
Okay.
No, it can't be exactly the same.
Why do we use the same words there? What for? Do we help them practice the words?
We help them practice the use of dictionary here, not like the words.
Yes, definitely. But they're still using the same knowledge about the same words. So there is a kind of element of recapping, yeah, revision, consolidation, using the same information. The same target language is used. So further exploit the same target language, the same vocabulary area, right? Introduced in, for example, exercise A1, right? That's the connection. Okay, then C9, have a look at C9. So what's the focus on of C9? Let's start with that. Make definitions, right? Can we say the focus is on definitions, on understanding definitions, writing definitions, practicing definitions, yeah, something like that, yeah? And how, what's the connection to the previous activities, A's or B's?
Maybe to understand first part of speech.
Yeah, part of speech and meaning in general. Absolutely, that's the connection, yeah? To work on meaning, yeah, using definitions, yeah, and meaning is also mentioned in which activity? In both number 2 and number 3?
Yes, I think, yes, we got the meaning. Verb, noun, and context has helped us.
Yeah, actually, in the recommended answers is quite vague. Yeah, what's the connection is not very clear. I'll show you in a moment. But we can be smarter and we can actually connect them better. Meaning is behind that. How about D10?
We're looking at how D10 is connected to
one of A's or B's.
One of A's or B's.
We have to identify also part of speech and provide one example.
Yep.
And understand abbreviations.
So parts of speech introduced in exercise A1, for example. Right? So meta language, parts of speech, yeah, something like this. That's very good. Yeah. And we have D11.
Can it be practice of this?
Yeah, yeah. But again, the connection is, yeah, again, using acronyms.
Of part of meta language.
Yeah, abbreviation, yeah, meta language, yeah. Good. And finally, we have all exercises in task 3. So in task 3,
You mean, are we talking about assumptions?
C, yeah, in task C, you mean, yes? C, not 3, C?
They have all exercises in task 3 somehow.
And where is 3?
Maybe A, B, C, D put all together. That's what they meant. Yeah, I guess this. A, B, C, D. The final section, exercises 12 and 13. You see, the instructions are sometimes so ambiguous.
Where do you have it? We don't have it.
What do you mean?
So
Oh,
exercise
We
number
don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, do you see section D, 10 and 11?
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
have below at the bottom of the page?
A, B,
But it's
C, D.
exercise 12 and 13. We don't have this
Yes,
in the task.
you don't?
No, in the task it's not written that we need to analyze them. We have D10 and
okay.
D11.
Okay, then somehow, yeah, I don't know why they're highlighting that. Probably it'll be relevant for all points, yeah? So I'm showing you the recommended answers because I can't look at 2 pages at the same time, yeah. It's like this. Oops, sorry, this is assumption. Yeah. Hold on, this, yeah? Yeah. So you can see in brackets sometimes, or not in brackets, they're saying from exercise this, introduced in exercise that. So it's better to do that, that's safer. Otherwise it's like too general. But they're not giving a good example, do they? Okay. Any questions?
Can I just precise one more time?
Yeah.
Do we need to write 2 for each or just
Yeah.
1?
No. You have to make 6 points in part A and 6 points in part B. How do you split them?
Okay.
It's up to you, but it's better to mention all of the activities from the rubric.
Got it.
So spread your attention evenly, yeah? So if they're giving you 4 activities, for 2 of them, you will have to make 2 connections or purposes. If they're giving you 6, there will be only 1 for each of them, okay? Right. Now, finally, assumptions, the most important thing, yeah? Where you can show the depth of the answer and your good understanding of the topic. So for that, you can create a phrase like that. You've got it at the top. It's important to do this because blah, blah, blah. That will help you build up a very good response with reasons. So why does it help? And give a reason. And then think about which exercise that illustrates. And mention that at least in brackets. Or introduced in, you know, something like that. Okay, so let's have a look at the sample paper again. And what are they asking us to evaluate? Exercises A1, for example, yeah? What assumption comes to mind?
It's crucial, it's important to know parts of speech and their abbreviations in the dictionary, kind of identify.
Yeah. Something like meta language, parts of speech, yeah.
Because it helps to find easier to find the words and understand the part of speech or the meaning of the words.
Yeah.
Can be like that.
Yeah, it will facilitate working with reference books and dictionaries.
Facilitate is a more sophisticated word.
Helps is okay. I'm just rephrasing. It's a kind of habit, you know. I always rephrase whatever students say. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. One more point. Like, remember, we've seen words with different meanings, but the spelling is the same. Homonyms. Yeah. What's the benefit of that? Let's make an assumption.
Well, it's important to draw students' attention to the existence of homonyms because they will come across them in texts and in both in listening and in both in speaking and in writing, as they are widely spread. This is a widely spread category.
Okay. Yeah,
something
because
like this.
they're common. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's think about the general thing, like why using dictionary skills, why focusing on that, because all of them are about that.
It increases learners' autonomy,
which is important because
yes, which is important because a learner I don't know how to put it correctly,
rely on his resources or
yes,
kind of
and in brackets you can list all of the activities, right?
Yeah. Like what activities work on that especially well, you mean in this very lesson?
Great, awesome. Okay, now let's think about some other bits and pieces we've mentioned previously when we evaluated tasks step by step. Have I mentioned the script? Phonemic script?
But
focus on phonology?
Yeah, focus on phonology.
Yes, we did, yes.
Okay, what that for? What's the assumption?
To understand connected speech better, to increase intelligibility.
Is it about features of connected speech? I'm terribly sorry.
Able to read a new word, just
able to, okay.
To hear them, probably, to hear properly, to identify the sound.
To identify.
The sounds.
To focus on oral form, to learn to say words, to be able to use dictionaries in the future and pronounce new words accurately. Yeah, things like that. Okay. Now we have a couple of things there, like, for example, working on definitions or completing texts or matching words and definitions. What's the principle behind that? You're not giving them information. You're asking them to what?
Yeah. You elicit, no, not elicit, gosh.
You help them notice something. You help them work out some of the patterns, right? Which is beneficial because
well, activates their language awareness.
Yeah. Again, learner autonomy,
motivation,
and also their
cognitive
abilities, yes.
Cognitively involved, which makes the lessons more effective, more efficient. Yeah, motivation is a good point too. Yeah. Okay, why did we use sentences or pictures?
To vary the task, to engage.
Contextualize, that's a big thing. Yeah, always remember, yeah, it's always there, or it should be there. Yeah, so it's important to contextualize target language because
it demonstrates how it works or how it is used in a context or in a sentence.
Yeah, and it helps them understand what it means actually. Good. Okay, so do we have individual words or lexical chunks in this activity?
Individual
words.
Okay, so we can actually
but we have
that,
some chunks.
but we don't have to.
Like sounds the same as is the opposite of.
Yeah, you mean in the definitions?
It's definition.
Yeah. Good. So you can highlight that. Focusing on lexical chunks is beneficial because
because it's easier to retrieve from the memory and describe, I think, or explain the meaning.
Yeah, and then later on understand in dictionaries, in reference books.
These chunks, yes, without
but we also focused on separate words, like words that are spelled in the same manner and pronounced in the same manner, but the meaning is different. What's that for? Why on single words?
Because this is what they see in the dictionary.
Exactly.
In the dictionary, they usually see a single word, and then looking at how this word is introduced in the example, which is also provided in the dictionary.
Good.
They will feel like that, like
or deduce
it's
the meaning.
applicable to what they're studying.
Good. That's a very good point. Yeah. Okay. Now, why do you think the pictures? Yeah, you said it's funny, but do you think the students will understand what you mean? Like a football match, for example, will they get that?
If they know the words.
Which one?
The match, like a noun. I mean, the match, which.
Yeah, I know, but both of them are matches, right?
Yeah, yes.
Which one is familiar?
Of course, the football match. That's why they will substitute.
See? And they learn a new meaning based on their previous
knowledge.
Knowledge. Yeah, exactly. And why is that important?
To build on the new knowledge, like to go step by step, like this, the principle.
Input, right?
Comprehensible input.
Good, amazing. What else we've got? We've got exercise, for example, D11. What's that for?
D11.
Or A3, they're similar in my opinion. What kind of assumption can we make out of that?
To choose the word according to the context, it means that you need to understand the meaning of the word. So
yes, and therefore make
part of speech
the right choice. Yes, which part of speech to use.
Good. So they're practicing using the words, right? What kind of practice is that?
Controlled.
Controlled, yeah.
Controlled practice. Yeah.
And why is that important?
So that they feel support.
Gradual scaffolding support is given, to help them remember. So here you can see the first part, assumptions and reasons. Have a look. If you see a slash, obviously this is one of the ways how to put it, Are you ready? I can show you the next screen. Okay, I have one more slide, I think. Ready? All right, now, useful language that you might have taken notes of, Part A, infinitive of purpose, or this exercise does this, and I am giving you quite a few options there. Then part B, again, this exercise extends, adds, gives, focuses, and so on. So more verb phrases, but basically you can use the previous verbs as well. And finally, in part C, because is the most important thing. Giving reasons is important there. So state the assumption and then give a reason behind that. And then refer to the exercise. Be careful, the exercises are listed, you have to refer to. So you can't refer to just random exercises. Any questions here? Okay. Now, the assumptions. Yeah, I'm giving you quite a few options how to state the assumptions. I think we've discussed most of them, but have a look. Maybe there is something new or something you doesn't make sense to you.
And number 5, give form-based exercises. You mean like structured?
Yeah, to focus on form when like
focus on form.
yeah,
Okay.
a gap fill. Yeah.
Okay.
Focus on the written form, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Now, the task we are going to focus on right now, we have 15 minutes. Usually you work with a break, right?
No.
No?
No.
You're not exhausted then.
We can take just a short break, maybe a minute.
No. We have only 15 minutes. I don't.
Okay, we'll finish. Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make sense. So what I want you to do is to focus only on part A. We'll do that together. Yeah. But then you'll finish it in a written form, the whole thing, like part A, part B, and part C. All right. So the task is going to be like this. So first, have a look at the task. So we have the material on the right. I'll share the example in a moment in a better quality, yeah, in the format of the file with everything. So what do we highlight first of all? What do we notice first?
The purpose?
The aim, the purpose.
Yes, the purpose, and the overall purpose is?
To express obligations, to enable others to express
obligation and permission. So whatever you are saying, language focus 1, exercise 1 is designed to introduce the topic or whatever, but then you you have to say, yeah, to express obligation and permission, something like this, yeah, to make sure it's relevant for the overall purpose. Now, I've created some prompts for you so that you don't think how to put it in a better way, yeah, but you'll be using this template. So all the activities from the rubric are here in this grid. You have just to mention the purposes. How many purposes will we have to come up with?
6.
Good, exactly. And how many activities do we have?
3.
3?
Yes. So how many purposes for each activity you will have to think about?
2?
Yeah, it's a good idea. If you can think of 3 purposes for one and only 1 for another, that's okay. But you know, if they're evenly spread, it's better. It shows your flexibility. You can work on any of them. Yeah, right. Now, I'll share the link to the Google form because the template is there. It's easier to use. Okay, first, could you please all follow the link? What do you see as the first page?
Presentation, Delta Model 1.
Yeah. What is on the second page then?
Part A, exercise, extends, provides, allows.
Yes, so basically you have everything we've talked about, the structure of your response, yeah, some prompts. And then on page 3, you can see the task itself, right? And then on page 4, what do you see?
The task. The page.
The second page. And on page 5, there will be one more page from the book because there are 2 pages, yeah, that are given in the task. So then on page 6, again, you can see the useful language that I promised to share. It's still there for you to refer to. I'm going to split you into groups, and I'll give you 5 minutes to brainstorm ideas. And then, having discussed what you think, type in a couple of purposes at least, all right? So let me see how we can work here. Tatiana, are you around?
Yes, I'm here. It's just my internet is not so good, you see.
Okay, then you'll be working in groups of 3, only 2 groups. Maria, Natalia, and Olga, you're group 1. Please use that slide, yeah, which is number 7. And Alyona, Svetlana, and Tatiana, please work on slide number 8. You will see group 2 there, okay? Discuss the purposes and decide which ones you'll be typing in.
Grammar that they are going to study together. Do you agree?
Yes, it is about exercise 2 only.
No, it's exercise 1 because in the task first we are working with number 1.
Yeah, you don't have to comment on exercise 2 at all. It's not in the rubric.
So, ladies, who's gonna write anything?
You can actually split the responsibility, yeah? So for example, Alyona, you can write about the first one, Svetlana about the third one, and then someone will write about practice 1A, like that. And you can ask each other.
Do you agree with me, ladies?
Yes, but I cannot print anything or type anything anywhere.
Yeah, and my internet connection very slow. So
Okay, you can just dictate. I can type.
Okay.
Thank you, Alyona. Yeah.
Practice 1A.
Oh, goodness.
I think I did something wrong because it's totally like
Irreversible.
no, it's not working.
What's the problem, guys?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, we have some problem with the materials, technical one, I guess.
Okay, would you prefer PDF?
Probably, yes, this would be helpful. Maybe if you could share it in the chat, it would be.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. Hold on.
Because it's either too small, like the font is too small, or I started doing something with it and ruined everything. Sorry.
Okay. Have a look. Is it the same task? Olga won't be able to see it, I'm afraid.
I think I can.
No? Okay, good.
Yes, that's what we need. So we are looking at number 7, right?
Why number 7?
You said we look at slide 7.
Slide number 7. Yes.
Yes, slide number 7. So, I mean, not
I
the
thought you were
task,
talking
but
about the activity. No,
no. So we are looking at language focus exercise 1, the purpose, and language focus exercise 3.
Very good. Yes. Yes. Come up with a couple of purposes.
Okay, what rules would you expect to find in the following places? Make a list of 1 or 2 rules for each place. Okay, so the purpose of the task, girls, you say something. Okay.
Looks like leading to
well, yeah, we should remember that the overall target is purpose is obligation and permission in the present. So we contextualize, to contextualize the target language
of obligation and permission.
Yes,
fantastic. That's the one. Yeah,
this is number 1, and we have to come up with 2, right? Purposes. The second purpose is to activate functional language.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And in number 3, which signs on page 1 do the following relate to? So
Okay, so it seemed you must have lost something important for the analysis.
What has happened during the task?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You know, strange things happen occasionally, but yeah. You know what? I shared the PDF with some of you. I'll be sharing the PDF, of course, by email with everyone, so that you can see the whole task, all the prompts and everything, right? Okay, what ideas have you come up with? Language focus exercise 1. Yeah, you mentioned it's a lead-in. And what do you use lead-ins for? What's the purpose? To
generate interest to the topic.
Yeah, exactly. To generate interest will be good enough. You also mentioned activating schemata, your background knowledge of the target language related to, and you can be more specific, obligation and permission. Also, I think students can come up with some ideas how to use it here, right? Because they will be discussing. So you can mention that as well.
Yes, we did.
Okay, how about exercise 3? What do we have? I think only one group typed in something.
Yeah,
we did that. We worked only orally. Sorry.
That's okay. So have a look at the ideas. Do you have anything to add? Focus on the form and meaning. Guided discovery. Hold on.
I don't know. I can't see the part of the tasks. I hope it's a kind of guided discovery because they still can deduce the meaning of the phrases somehow. They have to choose something there.
They need to cross the sentences that are not true about each sign.
So can it be considered a guided discovery, like if the teacher organizes them, like the analysis of those phrases?
Well, the focus is on meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's checking
Yes.
understanding of meaning of the target language.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not completely guided discovery because in guided discovery, they figure out the rules. Yeah.
And can it be modeling, like of the language?
The sentences are used to contextualize the target language. It's a kind of model. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not
again, context setting, yeah, and testing students perhaps. Yeah. Focus on meaning. Whatever you've mentioned is good. How about practice 1A, if you can see it?
Controlled practice.
Looks like controlled practice of the target language of, yeah, giving
obligation and permission.
Exactly. And why do we need controlled practice? To
make the students feel confident.
Yes, to build confidence. What else?
Yes. To put it into practice.
What kind of practice? Is the focus on
accuracy.
Accuracy. Yeah, those things. Yeah. And also the target language is used in sentences again, so it'll be contextualized. Right? Great ideas. So we've just done part A. Now you need to take a seat. It'll take a bit longer, obviously, and you have to write it down. So do you have the answer sheets, like the lined pieces of paper? Has Juliana shared with you?
No.
Okay, then I'll send you the answer sheet. Print it out. I can see that you've got printers. And produce it. So what you do at the top of the page, and hopefully you'll be using pages wisely. If each task will start with a new page, at the top of the page, you put task 2, yeah, because for both papers, you'll have separate answer booklets. So you start task 2, and then whatever you are focusing on, if it is section A, you put A, then exercise, for example, 1A, and then you are given information about the purpose of this activity and so on. Okay. So you can use the layout that I showed you. Of course, it doesn't have to be in a table, like a list, but the sequence will be like that. So let me just take notes what to send you. Answer sheet.
Do we have to do it now, or maybe it will be like
it's your homework.
Homework.
Yeah, we're about to finish. I'm overrunning a little bit. So sample task. Yeah, so it's sample task 2 for us. We've looked at the sample tasks from the handbook. Yeah, perhaps I'll send you the copy of that and the recommended answers. It'll be your model. Then you'll work on sample 2. Yeah, this one, rules and something. Don't remember. Freedom, rules and freedom. That's the topic of the material. Would you like more? Would you like one more sample task?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes, the more the better. Even if we don't do them, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least we'll have them. We can return to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously you can do at least one section to focus on purposes or focus only on assumptions, whatever you feel. At least give them some thought. Because the more you practice, of course, the better you'll be then. And of course, my slides. I'll share my slides. Okay. Anything else you want to get from me? Okay. Okay.
There is plenty. So thank you.
Yeah, so we actually did quite a lot of things today. Yeah. And the things that we've done, they are not only for this part, they're for the following task as well. Yeah, because we've been revising everything. And you know what the Delta Model 1 is like? It's like CPE for students. Yeah, you have to know everything, and we don't know what you're going to be asked about. You will have to demonstrate your deep understanding of the principles. And that's why revision was important. Any questions at this stage? Okay. Yeah, then thank you very much. I'm in touch. If you have anything to ask me about privately, yeah, go ahead. But otherwise, I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time, I think, right?
Yeah, actually, when are we? Yeah, because our timetable is kind of
a mess. It's always different. I don't know.
I'm lost. When is the next time?
Well, I'm glad it's not my fault, but yeah, let me check it. So the information I got from Juliana, and yesterday I had to call her to confirm that because I was confused myself. Like today we had the first, the introduction of this task, yeah, the first session. The second session will be on the 29th.
29th of October.
We'll work on material evaluation again and consolidate, and I'll show you more samples, different tasks, different type of tasks, yeah, not only language, maybe lessons on skills too. Then on the 12th of November, we'll start working on task 3. And on the 19th, according to my notes, you have to revise and write a mock test. So I think perhaps the mock test will be your homework. And you'll come, yeah, to the 19th of November with some understanding how to do it. And yeah, we'll discuss some of the challenges of some tasks and consolidate. Make sense?
And that would be our last session, right? The 19th
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you for clarification.
Thank you very much. You've been amazing, active, very smart. Yeah, I'm impressed, honestly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.